All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. We're going straight to the charts. No major announcements as of yet. Just concluded spaces with Pierre Sharp. Also had some calls and stuff. So coming to you a little bit later than usual. All right, check out the monthly chart. This is really, really good and very optimistic. The month is rallying a little bit, and if we can close above the 50-period moving average on a monthly scale, that creates a very, very good situation going into next month. Let's hope it's sustainable. Weekly chart, I zoomed out the weekly chart a little bit. The next area of support is sitting all the way down at $11,100. I see absolutely no support in between the two, which is, well, kind of scary, but we did rebound right off the MRI support line. We are now on extension B. I like this chart. I think Bitcoin has a rally in it. I know it seems like desperate times and there's no way Bitcoin will rally. But one of the most optimistic things that I heard, as we discussed in Spaces the other day, is that the number of Bitcoin accounts with more than one Bitcoin is greatly rising. That's a really good sign. More than one Bitcoin means one Bitcoin and a Satoshi is more than one Bitcoin. So I got to get stats on this. I'm sure Willie Wu tweeted it out and many others. Here is the bullish scenario. I forgot who said it, so I can't take the credit. Let's forget about the whales. Let's forget about accounts with 1,000 Bitcoin in them. There's not that many of those accounts. If you look at all of the accounts between 1 Bitcoin and say 10 Bitcoin, how many of those accounts are there? Those are the accounts you want to pay attention to, because anyone with an account between 1 Bitcoin and 10 Bitcoin will be very interested in picking up another 1 or 2 Bitcoin, because someone with less than 10 Bitcoin does not have enough money to retire. They have not reached that point where they can just, have what we call FU money. Having 10 Bitcoin right now is not FU money, right? At 20,000 a Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, 200 grand. That's not FU money. Maybe somewhere in the middle of Africa, maybe somewhere in rural Asia, but not in the West. In the West, having a $200,000 savings is, well, less than most people living in Manhattan. So nothing useful. But here's where these people become very important. Anyone between 1 Bitcoin and 10 Bitcoin is very interested in picking up another Bitcoin or 2. That is the biggest pool of people that are holding Bitcoin, that chunk. And if, let's say, there is 1 million of these people, let's say by the end of this year, say there are 1 million people with 1 to 10 Bitcoin in their stash. Okay. Well, you can't have, it's hard to have 1 million people with 10 Bitcoin in their stash. That's half the supply of Bitcoin. So the majority of that are going to be on the low end. But let's say we get to a point, because I heard there was 800 wallets with more than 800,000 wallets with more than 1 Bitcoin. Let's get that to over 1 million wallets to more than 1 Bitcoin. And the majority of them are on the lower end of the spectrum. If we are looking at a world where there's 1 million people that are holding between 1 and 10 Bitcoin, let's say sometime next year, every one of these people will be very interested in doubling their Bitcoin stash at low prices, like now. And if each of those people attempts to double the number of Bitcoin they have, that's literally more Bitcoin than there is in circulation. That is such a bullish, optimistic way of thinking about it. Every single person with just 1 or 2 Bitcoin is very interested in doubling their stash. And if they all do that, price of Bitcoin skyrockets. Let's go to our allocation. Our allocation is almost at break even. We stayed patient. We did not panic. I really wanted to double down here, but it honestly would have been irresponsible of me. So I would rather double down right now because I'm looking at the stock market, and as expected, the MRI is reversing the market. I expected this. I've talked about this. I expected a stock market rebound. Okay. So here we are. I wish I did this video earlier. I could have definitely claimed the double down a little bit earlier because when I started to do the video, it was like when I set this up this morning, then I had to jump on calls. Would have been a lot earlier, but that's okay. So I still believe in this rebound. Do I think that the worst is over? Do I think we're never going to go that low again? I can't believe we even got to $17,500. That's insane. Could we go lower? Yes. Shitcoins are still a massive plague on the world today. But we are going to YOLO, even without leverage. And even though Consensio doesn't call for it, we're doing it. Consensio still says I should be 100% short, but we are 40% long. This could be a colossal mistake, like many other mistakes, but we are also going to deleverage this. Well, deleverage it, sell some if we rally all the way to 29,000, because I think breaking 29,000 is going to be very, very hard. We're going to run in to the long-term moving average. We're going to get to the prior floor that we got annihilated on. But I think we have a rally coming. I think there's a rally coming. And one of the things that gives me more confidence in this rally is the stock market. I think the stock market can rally here, at least to its level of breakdown right there. So while that's happening, Bitcoin can certainly go up a few $1,000s. All right, we're keeping an eye on our chess tournament. Rajabov tied, had a draw with Nepo. So he is now at 2 draws and 1 loss. That is unfortunate. He needs to win a game. He's got another tough challenge. I think he's the lowest ranked player in this entire tournament. Lowest or second lowest, I'm not sure. So he's got his work cut out for him. We are supporting Rajabov because he is a friend of this show. Hey guys, Financial Summit is exactly 40 days away. Unless today is the 21st, which I think it is, then it's 39 days away. The days are ticking down. 39 days away. Join us in the Dominican Republic. Hopefully, if the price of Bitcoin rallies to $30,000 or $40,000 in the next 10 days, a bunch of people will be so happy they're going to come and sign up. We still have room. Rented that entire giant castle that you saw a minute ago, and we have room in there. I might have gotten a few too many rooms. Had very high expectations for Bitcoin by this time. When we put this together, it was when this thing got when I committed to this, the price of Bitcoin was literally $68,000. That's when I committed to that event. And from the day I committed to that event, it's been downhill. This is when we committed to that event. It was this week because that's when Bali ended, and Bali went so well. I'm like, wow, we're going to get 100 people into the Dominican Republic. So I pulled the trigger and rented out the entire castle. Unfortunately, I didn't have to pay for that castle right there. That would have been good. Okay, so I have to pay for the castle. Time to, sell some Bitcoin. But I have to pay for that castle literally here. So it's been very painful. Like when I'm not doing these videos, I'm actually crying based on what had to be done to pay the castle bill. Here, and by the way, and here. Here and here. That's when the castle bills were due. So it's very, very painful. But like Pierre Richard just said in Spaces, bear markets are for building. But yeah, here it is. Here's the picture of the castle. It's so incredible. You have to be there. And check out our actual full promo video here. Other information all throughout. All right. Please follow us on YouTube. And Twitter. All right, daily chart. Daily chart of Bitcoin is bouncing right off the MRI buy. That is as perfect as it gets. This was the reason why I did not panic with that position. This also should have been the reason why I should not have entered that position to begin with. I should have waited for the daily MRI buy and went all in over here at the $16,000, $17,000 level with the MRI buy. That would have been the smart way to do it. In hindsight, it was grossly obvious that I should wait for my own indicator to tell me when to get in, but here we are. Those interested in the MRI, you can find information, products and services, MRI indicator. You can see how on both Bitcoin and the S&P 500, it pretty much had a low. This is the futures of the S&P 500. That is a beautiful doji candle that had the MRI warning on it. This is the actual MRI buy candle. Let's look at oil. Let's see what oil's doing. Hourly chart looks pretty good. The MRI pulled us back on the hourly chart here, and now we're good to go. Look at that. GBC Premium rocketed back up. People are rushing in for GBC Premium. That's a good sign. I'm really curious how much GBTC 3 Arrows Capital is still holding. Hopefully not much. A ton of leverage was already taken out of the system. We aren't going to 14K. I'm reading a comment. I don't know. We may or may not go to 14K. I hope we don't. A lot of people hope we do so they can buy cheap Bitcoin. It's harder for me to buy cheap Bitcoin because I don't really make any fiat money to buy cheap Bitcoin. So I'm happy that other people will get to buy cheap Bitcoin, but it doesn't really, it doesn't help me personally, and it doesn't help the sales of the Financial Summit. They do way better when the price of Bitcoin is strong. So for completely selfish reason, I would rather have Bitcoin go up, not down, contrary to people calling me a perpetual bear. Oil, let's see where oil goes. I am neutral on oil right now. I don't really care about gold, and clearly no one else does either. We already talked about the S&P. I think the S&P is going to rebound, though I don't know what would cause that rebound. Let's go take a look at the Russian currency. We haven't looked at that in forever. First, let's take a look at TLT. You can see how the bonds are dropping in price. I think bonds are going to rally a little bit. There is a weekly MRI. So what was that? Why do I have arrows here? I'm not sure why I have this arrow. What about the rate? What about the 10-year yield? Okay, so 10-year yield is on an MRI sell. The yield should come down a bit. And then probably the rate's going high, along with inflation. Now let's go look at the currencies. Take a look at the dollar. The dollar is very strong. It's the strongest the dollar has been in how many years? Decades, maybe? Decades. decades, guys. The strongest dollar since 2002. That is 2 decades. It's the strongest the dollar has been versus the basket of other crap, which doesn't really mean the dollar is all that strong. It means everything else is total nonsense and complete and utter garbage. Let me slide this stuff over a smidge. Let's look at the Russian currency and a Brazilian currency, actually. I'm curious on Brazil. Colombia just hired a new president. I need to learn a little more, but from what I've read already, this could be fairly scary. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Russia is about to have a problem with an unreasonably strong ruble. Jesus. So this is the strongest Russian ruble has been since 2015. And it's probably going lower. So where's the support? Oh, wow. So that is the potential future of the Russian ruble. There's nothing else. There's no other like support here. It's going to significantly strengthen based on TA. What a grossly miscalculated move by the West to sanction Russia and destroy its economy. Though if the ruble gets super strong, they will, in a quasi way, hurt Russia's economy by it having an unreasonably strong ruble. But if they're forcing everyone to buy commodities in rubles, that's yeah, I mean, people have to buy Russian commodities in rubles eventually, and it's not going to hurt them much because they don't buy oil and gas from Russia because they want to and they're nice people. They're buying it because they have to. Wow. Wow. You guys do realize that if the Russian ruble was part of the DXY calculation, the dollar would be down here. The reason why the dollar is so strong is because the ruble is not part of its calculation. It's mostly the euro and the British pound and the yen and some Swiss franc and maybe some Canadian dollar. I don't know. So it's everything. The ruble is not there. So if the ruble was there, even at like, let's say a 5% clip in DXY, DXY would be significantly weaker. So this is a really weird metric on how to evaluate the US dollar. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations for buying a quarter of a Bitcoin. Are you a whole Bitcoiner yet? If you are, I'm sure you are very interested in doubling that stash up. So yeah, it's people like you that are going to prevent us from going back below 20,000 again. Hey guys, there is an MRI alert service. You can try it for free. It notifies you on any asset that is hitting these critical MRI levels. You can set up your own portfolios. You can get Telegram alerts. You can get email alerts. You can set up favorites. Have your portfolio in here, whatever you like. It's tradingmri.com. All right, I think I'm going to keep this one short. I like this rebound. I like this candle. This candle has 7.5 hours to go on our 4-day chart. Consensio says we should be 100% bearish, but I've already broken my Consensio rule so many times that eventually it has to work out. This totally did not work the way it was meant to work. Follow the Financial Summit, Instagram, Twitter, everything, all the handles. Think about joining us. It is only 40 days away in the Dominican Republic. All right, thank you all for watching. I do think this rally will keep going for a little while, and see you all on the next one. Bye, guys. Wait, I gotta. Super. Someone was asking to look at USD JPY. I'll look at it. I'll try to remember tomorrow. Oh yeah, Japan is finally imploding. Only took 20 years. Maybe I'll look at it now. I know a bunch of people already got off the stream, but real quick. I've been listening how Japan's going to implode for 20 years. Maybe it's finally happening. The Japanese yen is going into hyperinflation slowly. Yep, Japan's in trouble. Japan's in trouble. And they just sanctioned Russia, so they're putting themselves into more trouble. I mean, these countries are hurting themselves economically, and then they're wondering why they're in trouble. Oh, well. I would love to go to Japan and buy shit very, very cheaply with dollars. But I'm not sure they're open to tourism yet because they went ape shit crazy with their COVID restrictions. Talk to you guys on the next one.